My last video on here, I talked about how using robotic affirmations helped me lose 50 pounds. And I had somebody comment asking some very, very good questions that I want to use this opportunity to answer in this video. First and foremost, if you're new here, my name is Jen, and this channel is dedicated to all things mindset and manifestation. So if you enjoy those topics, be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment down below saying hey, as it helps boost the algorithm. Let's get into this topic. A lot of people, when they hear about robotic affirming, I feel like they're immediately drawn to Sammy Ingram's concept of the 10K affirmation challenge. And I myself tried out the 10K affirmation challenge, and I get everybody's frustrations because when I tried it out, I went cuckoo. I went crazy. I really enjoy Sammy's content, and now that I'm like detached from the situation, I can see much more clearly now how I was the one doing it wrong, and modified the structure of robotic affirming to make it more beneficial and healthy for the person who is doing it. This is how you're going to find success when it comes to robotic affirming. Back when I did the 10K challenge, where I really went wrong was that I was super focused on manifesting this thing into my life, and I would equate it to being similar to trying to lose 10 pounds in a week and then getting really, really upset when I don't do it, and then self-sabotaging times 10 because I wasn't able to lose 10 pounds in a week. If you think about it in that context, that's absolutely crazy. That would be pushing yourself to an extreme. It's super unhealthy and super unsustainable. Same thing with the 10K affirmation challenge if you're looking at it from a perspective of trying to manifest this thing. But now that I'm detached and I don't really have that, oh my God, desperate attachment to wanting this thing into my life, I can kind of see clearly what she's saying. As somebody who is currently going through training to become a certified clinical hypnotherapist, I have learned a lot about the subconscious and how to apply.
Could you try again?
Oh my God, Siri. Sorry about that. Siri rudely interrupted me. Where was I? I understand the subconscious a lot more, and one of the things that we learn is essentially what the root concept of law of assumption is, which is your dominant thoughts create your reality. So I started using robotic affirming not as a way to manifest a thing into my life, but to hyperfixate my thoughts in order to create a new reality for myself. And part of what we learn in hypnotherapy, which I've made other videos on this channel about, is there's a lot of times throughout the day where you are operating on autopilot when you're driving in your car, when you're doing things that are like second nature. You're naturally in trance. Your subconscious is wide open. Your subconscious is the one running the show. So in these moments, it is super imperative that you are feeding yourself the right thoughts and beliefs. So if you're in your car and you're listening to sad music, this is impressing into your subconscious heavily at this time. So when I would go on my walks or I would be at these certain parts of my day, I had a tendency to overthink and spiral into negativity. So I started using the robotic affirmations, the affirmation tapes, and the hypnotic programming for different parts of my day so that I could just hyper fixate on certain things. And then when I used this, I was sort of the observer. I was open to just seeing what my subconscious would create as a result of feeding myself these new thoughts. So that's why I think a lot of people struggle when they think of robotic affirming and they immediately want to think of the 10K challenge. There's a big difference in taking multiple hours a day to hyperfixate on thoughts so that this thing comes into your life, versus taking maybe an hour to 2 hours a day to just concentrate on certain thoughts and giving yourself a time span of like 30 to 60 days and watching your life change. Again, I'm gonna bring it back to kind of the comparison to weight loss. Like if you were to lose a lot of weight in a week, that's just not sustainable. But if you take the time, you have like a routine, and over 90 days, you spend an hour a day at the gym, you're gonna develop these new muscles. So I really turned it into something that was a part of my daily routine, something that I enjoyed to do, because I was feeding myself these yummy thoughts instead of having these like spirals, right? And I was able to kind of watch my life shift in different ways that I wouldn't have even expected, and doors to open that I would not have expected. And it might have not been in alignment with the thing that I'm trying to manifest. That's not to say that that thing's not still gonna show up. It's just my subconscious is saying, okay, great. In order for us to have this, I need this, and then I need this, and then I need this. And once I have all of this, and when I'm fully ready and I feel so safe, because you're paying attention to me and you're trusting me and you're doing what I'm telling you to do, you're moving in the direction that I'm wanting to move in, then I'm gonna bring that thing in for you, okay? I always say it's like you give a dog a scent, you wouldn't tell that dog like, no, you're going in the wrong direction. You would trust that dog because that's what it's like built to do. That's what it's designed to do. Our subconscious is the same way. You just give it the scent and the thoughts to think, and it will do the work for you. But wanting that quick fix, wanting that, oh my gosh, if I just do 2 days and repeat this, listen to this over and over again, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. I know that's gonna answer the question about the 10K, but let's look at some of the others. So number 1, you mentioned robotic affirmations. Can you please explain your wording in your affirmation example? Did you use present or future? How many times did you repeat each one, and how long did it take you to see results? Did you wholeheartedly believe it? In the beginning, no. In the beginning, it's not that I didn't believe it. And again, I think that this goes back to the resistance that we have towards it. So the affirmations that I used were affirmation tapes. You can find them on YouTube. The affirmation tape that I offer is weight loss specific. I use more affirmations like it is safe for me to have this thing. And I kind of keep 6. I keep like six or 7 on loop for like an hour. The affirmation tape will say, I am the prize. And then I would repeat, I am the prize. And maybe I'd repeat that out loud. Maybe I'd repeat it in my head. It just depended, you know? It depended on where I was. Like normally on my walk, I'd just be saying it in my head, hearing my own thoughts, repeat it back. Now, what these affirmation tapes didn't have that my affirmation tape does have, that I think is one of the biggest, most crucial things in manifesting what we want, is incrementals. I love the incremental affirmations, and I'm telling you, I'm testing out my own weight loss hypnosis and affirmation tape on myself, and I'm telling you, I mean, it's rapid fast. Every day it gets easier and easier for me to lose this weight. Something about the incrementals helps your subconscious believe and impress faster, because it's not like, I am now my ideal body weight. It is like every day I'm getting closer and closer to my ideal body weight. Every day I'm feeling more and more confident. Every day. So I incorporate a lot of that into, say, my affirmation tapes that I use now. And I also use I am safe, and I still use I ams, but I use core belief statements. So it's not like I am skinny. It's like I'm enough. It is safe for me to feel loved and adored. Because leading into the second question, or one of the questions that she asked me, so I hope that answers in terms of like the affirmations. Did I wholeheartedly believe it? Some of them yes, some of them no. Some of them I would see the results as quick as a week, but I'm gonna say some of the results were a little bit jolting, okay? Some of the results were jolting because my paradigm was shifting and my subconscious was like trying to get me to stop doing it. But if you can trek through that by like week 2, depending on how much resistance you have to it, maybe you have 1 to 2 days where it's hard, but then your subconscious latches on like boom. But depending on the resistance level, you might have some experiences that are like, whoa, what's happening? Like, this is so, I should just stop doing this. This is crazy. If you can push through that, it'd be like if you go to the gym and you're working out a new muscle and it hurts like hell the first week and you're like, I never want to go to the gym again. But then you go back to the gym and then before you know it, you just get used to your muscle builds up some kind of like acclimatization to it. Keep going. Keep going past the week. I promise you, give it 30 to 60 days. There's a saying, it goes for the weight loss thing, but I swear it goes for anything that we do. 4 weeks and you'll start to notice it. 8 weeks and your friends and family start to notice. And by 12 weeks, everybody else notices. I've lost like 30 pounds since February. After like a year of stagnation, I've lost 30 pounds since February. And it was really interesting because obviously the first month I can tell that I've lost weight. And then by like the second month, you know, I started getting comments from people around me, oh, you've lost weight. But like now it's like 3, 4, 5 months in, people will literally stop me and be like, oh my God, you're so skinny. Look at how skinny you are. I don't know if I like that. But it's like a lag time, you know? So I think it's the same way for like how the 3D sometimes needs to catch up to our new realities, because it took a lot of time for my subconscious to process like we're skinny now. And now everybody that I see is like, whoa, look at how skinny you are. Okay, so what would you use in your affirmation if you wanted to manifest getting rid of appearance things, stretch marks, things like that? So I haven't thought about this in a long time, but when I read this comment, I thought about it. I have like this weird discoloration. I've always had it on my upper left thigh, and I have stretch marks. I've had stretch marks since I was like a little kid with thick thighs, you know, like muscular thighs. I've had stretch marks my whole life, and I used to be so insecure about them. And now I like don't even think about them. And even like when I was 50 pounds heavier, I didn't think about them. But I think like the big realization there is that you don't want to manifest that. Like, it's not your ultimate goal really isn't to manifest them going away, right? It's you want to feel comfortable in your body. You want to feel confident in yourself. You want to feel like you're enough. You want to feel like, you know, you're beautiful and sexy regardless of whatever your perceived imperfections are. Well, I would really focus on affirmations that are just like, I am beautiful and sexy. I'm confident in my body. Every day I'm feeling more and more confident in my body. Every day I'm feeling more and more beautiful. Every day I'm focused less and less on, you know, my physical imperfections. I don't know, because when we take the focus off of those things, then they diminish. I went and looked today. I was like, is that discoloration still there? It's really not as bad as it used to be. But when we're hyper fixated on something, we think everybody else is going to be hyper fixated on it. And then that's what manifests. And to like bring that practically, like say you were to go to the beach and I don't take my clothes off, and I'm like being really like weird about that. And then by the time that I do take my clothes off, someone's gonna be like inspecting me and be like, oh, well, maybe she was having such a hard time taking her clothes off because she's got like that discoloration on her leg. Like, these are the ways that we bring these focuses onto these things, just because we're hyper fixated on it doesn't mean that other people are. So I would do what I can to just feel confident and sexy in my own body and worry less about wanting to see the physical evidence that like these things are disappearing, these things are going. Your attention to it will go away as you start moving your attention towards feeling confident, feeling sexy, feeling like it's natural and it's normal to have marks and things on my body. And the more and more I go loving myself and caring for myself, then it does minimize. So that kind of also, let me reiterate, that kind of goes into what I'm saying about like the affirmation tapes that I create have a lot of like, I am more than enough, I am beautiful and sexy, versus like, I now feel the desire to eat healthier every day, because these are the core beliefs that we have that are manifesting in bigger ways of like us having fears of being seen, or that kind of keep the weight on us, you know? That's at least what I learned from my journey, is the weight that I was carrying was serving as some kind of protection, some kind of protection tool that I could use to hide, to shut myself off. And the more that I started working on those core beliefs around worthiness and feeling like I'm enough, feeling confident, the easier and easier it got for me to just shed the weight or, you know, manifest these other things into my life. Someone commented on another robotic affirmation video and said they repeated their 10K affirmations almost daily and didn't notice or see any improvement. Why do you think it worked for you but not for them? It's low-key discouraged me, since they said robotic affirmations aren't necessarily deeply felt and thought, so it won't work as fast. Now that you're sharing your successful shifting, it gave me hope. So that's going back to what I said in the beginning of the video, is that's my thoughts and theories as to why that wouldn't have worked for that person. Whereas for me, I have a tendency to spiral and overthink, and I have like an obsessive compulsiveness. I impulse react on certain things, and it's horrible. So for me, it was more just using the robotic affirmations from an approach of like consistency and repetitiveness and training my brain to think in different ways. It was less about bringing something into my life or trying to make something happen, and more about changing my neural pathways. Changing my neural pathways. You have to consistently think this certain way for a consistent amount of time. It takes 21 days to form a habit. And even more than that, 90 days. 90 days to like change your damn lifestyle, okay? So I noticed the biggest shift for me was after 21 days. Even then, it was 30 days. 30 days was when I really started seeing like dramatic shifts. And that's not to say I didn't have these little micro movements throughout the whole process, and also having weeks where I'd want to fall into old thoughts and behaviors, but allowing myself the grace to just like get back up and get on it. And I've just had a lot of really wonderful shifts and, you know, progression in the way that I think and the way that I handle things, and just feeling more confident in myself, that I would highly recommend to anybody to just incorporate this into your life if it feels right for you. But definitely don't do it if you're trying to get something external for you to show up. This is something that you get to do for yourself. You get to feed yourself these loving, healthy thoughts. So that's my take on this. I hope this helped. Be sure to leave a comment. If you want to check out my weight loss hypnosis program, then you can find that link in the description box, and I will see you in one of my next videos. Bye.